Hi, my name is Lila Volkas, and I am a holistic nutrition consultant based out of Berkeley, California. In this session, we're going to be talking all about how to hack your snacks. I'll cover nutrition concepts of how to use food as a tool to boost your energy, maintain good mood and focus throughout the day. And I'll also show you how to make my favorite superfood truffles. These are super easy to make, they're delicious, and they satisfy your sweet tooth without making you go on an energy roller coaster. So I run a corporate team building business offering virtual events worldwide. My workshop topics range from how to boost your brain with food to how to brew your own kombucha at home, elixir happy hours, and many, many more. If you're interested in learning more about the workshops that I host, you can check out my information at the end of this session, and I will provide a link to my website and how to contact me. I was inspired to get into the field of nutrition after a 6-year healing journey from chronic skin, digestive, and fatigue issues. I was basically feeling very, very ill for about 6 years. And these big challenges ended up being a blessing in disguise because they really helped me learn how to listen to my body, as well as attune to what my body might need in different moments, and honestly led me to my absolute dream job of helping other people find healing through food. So let's dive in. How can we hack our snacks? I don't know about you, but since working exclusively from home and not being out and about, driving to different companies, hosting events, I have found myself snacking way more being at home all the time. So I have really put my mind to offering folks resources on how to snack with intention, with energy, focus, as well as taste in mind. So the first thing that we really need to think about when we're thinking about snacks and energy is the nutrition concept of blood sugar. When thinking about how to snack smart, we want to make sure that our blood sugar is within a certain range and not going up and down, what I like to call the blood sugar roller coaster, which is going to lead to feeling moody, not being able to focus, as well as feeling tired. So how does it work? Our blood sugar is the amount of glucose or sugar present in our bloodstream. This glucose transports energy into our cells and fuels us for our daily activities. Our blood sugar fluctuates throughout the day and really affects how much energy we have, our ability to concentrate, the mood we're in, how present we are with our families and our coworkers. So basically, it's pretty important. How does it work? After you eat a meal or a snack, your body responds by secreting insulin, a hormone produced by the pancreas. Insulin regulates your blood sugar levels, and its job is to prevent your blood sugar levels from getting too high. Chronically raised blood sugar levels are often what starts a blood sugar cascade and can lead to some chronic illnesses. At the extreme, dysregulated blood sugar leads to insulin resistance, prediabetes, as well as type 2 diabetes. So how does that feel in your body? First, let's talk about the positive. What does balanced blood sugar feel like? It feels productive. You feel like you have balanced energy, as well as you're feeling pretty content and rested. Imbalanced blood sugar feels like being hangry, so hungry that you could get angry and snap at people. High energy followed by a crash, brain fog, poor sleep, mood roller coaster, as well as having a hard time concentrating. The bottom line is that stable blood sugar makes your body feel safe. And when our body is not feeling safe, which would be in a fight or flight state, that sympathetic nervous system, it will not have the resources to focus on other things like balancing our hormones, having concentration, and being in a better mood. So let's get into some practical tips of what to put on your plate if you're wanting to hack your snacks and maintain energy throughout the day. First thing is making sure that you're choosing snacks that have healthy fat, protein, as well as supportive fiber in them. For example, some of my favorite snacks are going to be cheese with some seed crackers, or grass-fed jerky if you choose to eat meat, hummus and vegetables, nut butter and fruit, maybe some organic yogurt with granola and seeds. Those are just a few examples, and I'm happy to provide you some more concrete examples at the end of the session. I'll provide a slide. So with all of that, we want to make sure that we're not reaching towards snacks that are really high in refined sugar, in carbohydrates, in artificial sugars, or in caffeine. All of those are going to send us on an energy and blood sugar roller coaster. So if we are going to have a sweet snack, let's say chocolate, because chocolate is one of my favorite foods, I might have some chocolate, like a little square or two, with maybe a handful of almonds. That fat and protein from the almonds is going to help slow that absorption of the sugar into my bloodstream from the chocolate, making it so that I don't have as much of an impact on my blood sugar. Now, that's not to say I don't eat sweets or enjoy goldfish or chips, but I can tell how they affect my body, and so I will combine my foods to help balance that out. So maybe I don't just have chips, but I have chips with avocado. That's a common dish, chips and guacamole, but we're having that refined carbohydrate of those chips with a healthy fat, avocado, thus balancing out that impact of those chips on our blood sugar. So one other tip is to help your energy stay consistent throughout the day is to go easy on the caffeine. So while caffeine can be an immediate high to help us concentrate and focus, it can lead to a crash later in the day. I don't know about you, but if I start my day with just a big cup of black coffee without any breakfast, I know I'm going to feel on top of the world for about an hour, and then I might get if I drink too much coffee, I might feel a little anxious, might get a little jittery, and then will be followed by a crash. So I highly recommend either adding some sort of fat like whole milk or half and half into your coffee, even making it something called bulletproof, which has MCT oil in it, which is a part of coconut oil and grass-fed butter, or having it with your meal instead of before. That's going to greatly help the impact of that caffeine on your energy levels and help to buffer that effect on your blood sugar. While caffeine doesn't have any calories or sugar in it, it still will evoke some of our stress response, which can dysregulate our blood sugar. When I'm talking about healthy sources of fat, protein, and fiber, what I mean by that is I'm trying to find these sources in as whole food as possible. So that means instead of reaching for a granola bar or a protein bar, I'm reaching for a hard-boiled egg instead, because I would consider that more of a whole food, less processed than something like a protein bar. Similar to protein powder, I like to add protein powder into my smoothies, but I'm not going to exclusively get all of my protein just from that protein powder, because that's a pretty processed food product, and I'm really trying to eat most of my diet from things that are minimally processed and in their whole food form as much as possible. With fat, we have fat receptors in our body. Our brain is made up of 60% fat, so we definitely need healthy fat in our diet, but that's not necessarily going to come from French fries and donuts. That healthy fat is going to, again, come from these whole food sources that are minimally processed. I'm talking about, organic, well-sourced dairy, avocados, nuts and seeds, coconut oil, olive oil, etc. Meats, other animal products. Fat can come along in all of those foods and is going to greatly nourish our brain as well as our cell membranes, which are all made up of fat. Fiber is going to ride along with our fruits and vegetables. If we're eating an apple versus drinking apple juice, what is missing from that apple juice is fiber. That fiber is going to slow down that sugar absorption from that apple into our bloodstream, making apple juice a very blood sugar dysregulating drink versus eating an apple, which has that fiber, which is going to slow down that sugar in our body. So those are a few of my practical Hack Your Snacks blood sugar balancing tips. Let's go ahead and dive into the demo of how to make your own superfood truffles, which will satisfy your sweet tooth as well as maintaining your energy. All right, so here are some examples of my finished superfood truffles. As you can see, they're coated in different outside toppings. So this one is coated in coconut flakes, which is really nice aesthetically because the difference between the dark chocolate and the coconut, I think, looks really nice. This one is coated in cacao nibs, and if you're a chocolate fan, then you really should try cacao nibs if you've never tried them. They're basically like unsweetened chocolate chips, and they have all of the health benefits of chocolate, but without any of the sugar, so you really get all of those nutrients. What ingredients do you need for this recipe? First, you're going to need some sort of flour. And when I say flour, I'm going to put flour in quotation marks because you're not going to want to use any type of wheat flour or flour that you can only bake with. I prefer using almond flour because you can eat it raw and it's going to provide healthy protein and fat as well as other nutrients. So almond flour or coconut flour are going to be great for this recipe. You're also going to need some form of nut butter or seed butter. Here I have some peanut butter. You could also use cashew butter, sunflower seed butter, pumpkin seed butter, almond butter, whatever type of nut or seed butter you would like. You're going to need some sort of liquid sweetener. So here I have some maple syrup, but you could also use honey, maple syrup, honey, date syrup, coconut syrup are some of my favorite types of liquid sweeteners that I like to use. Maple syrup is probably my favorite for this recipe. And then I'm going to want to flavor these with something. So I have some cacao powder or chocolate powder here that's a great flavoring agent. I also have some cinnamon. If you wanted to make it a little bit spiced, you could put some cinnamon, maybe some ginger or cardamom in there. I also have this really cool blend of spices called golden milk. Golden milk is a blend of turmeric, ginger, cardamom, and a little bit of black pepper. Cinnamon's in there, and sometimes it varies in some other additions. This blend of spices is from Ayurveda, which is an ancient form of Indian medicine, and this particular spice blend is really well known for reducing inflammation and helping you kind of feel relaxed, often drank in a beverage with warm milk. But for this purpose, has turmeric in it. Turmeric is an awesome anti-inflammatory food, and so I really like to use this to flavor some of my superfood truffles. In addition, you could also add some protein powder if you wanted to elevate the protein content of this, or some other fun herbs and spices in there that I haven't mentioned. All right, so what you're going to need for this recipe is a small bowl like this, as well as a tablespoon, teaspoon, and regular spoon, as well as a plate. So first thing is we are going to measure 2 tablespoons of our almond flour or whatever dry edible flour that you can eat raw into your bowl. We always start with the dry ingredients because we want to mix all of the dry ingredients together first before we add any wet ingredients. Next thing is we're going to add 1 teaspoon of our flavoring powder. So these are going to be chocolate. So I'm adding 1 teaspoon of chocolate powder in here. Maybe I'll make it a little bit of a spiced chocolate, so I'll add just a little sprinkle of cinnamon as well. Cinnamon also helps to balance your blood sugar with the oils in the cinnamon, so I like to add that to my different treats. So now I'm going to mix all of this up here, like so, getting any clumps out, making sure it's well combined. And the cool thing about this recipe is it's incredibly versatile. So if you don't happen to have one of these ingredients at home, maybe you don't have chocolate powder, but you do have cinnamon, just use the cinnamon. It's going to turn out great. So this looks really good, nice and well combined. Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to add my wet ingredients. So I'm gonna add 1.5 tablespoons of my nut butter. So I have some organic peanut butter right here. And the main thing about this recipe is you want to make sure that the dough that we're making comes out to a good texture, a balance between wet and dry ingredients. So here I have my peanut butter plus my almond flour and my cocoa powder. And now I'm going to add my sweetener. So I'm going to do 1/2 tablespoon of maple syrup. And then I can always add more if I want more later. So that is all of the ingredients for the inside of the truffle. And so now I'm going to mix it. So first I just start by using my spoon and pressing the mixture against the edge of the bowl to kind of get it all combined, or else a lot of flour is going to kind of go everywhere. So it's looking pretty good. What I'm looking for is something that sticks together, but isn't too wet or too dry. So as I continue to mix, I'm kind of pressing the spoon against the bowl, and it's starting to kind of clump together so that I could easily form it into some small truffle balls. So this is looking pretty good. If you assess your mixture and you're like, this looks too dry, then I might actually add a little bit more wet ingredients, for example, the nut butter or the sweetener. But for this purpose, it looks really good. So I'm gonna continue along the recipe, but you can always balance it out with more wet or more dry ingredients. So now I'm gonna need my plate. So I'm gonna put my plate down here, and I'm going to take my clean hands, and I'm going to use my hands to roll small balls. It's in a bowl. I want to roll small balls of my mixture here. So this is what we want it to look like. Then what we're gonna do is I have 2 different toppings here. I have my cacao nibs. Remember, these are the unsweetened chocolate chips that I really like. And then I have a mixture of hemp seeds as well as coconut flakes. So I'm gonna go with the coconut flakes and hemp seeds here. So I'm gonna gently press the ball into the hemp seeds and coconut flakes like so. Coating it on the outside. This is for taste as well as for texture. Wonderful. Great, so this is what a completed truffle looks like. It has the chocolatey peanut butter and almond flour mix on the inside, and then on the outside we have our hemp seeds and coconut shreds. So I'll put that on my plate, and then I'll continue to do this with the rest of my, I'm gonna call this batter. So using my hands to roll it into a ball. And honestly, if you just wanted to roll it like this and you didn't want to roll it in any toppings, you could do that. You can also have a little bit of fun and have a little challenge to make these into some fun shapes. This is essentially like edible, I'm gonna say edible Play-Doh, where maybe I could press it down and maybe I want to make a little heart. Perfect. So this is pretty cute. Maybe I'll, instead of rolling my ball in some decorative toppings, maybe I'll just press some of the cacao nibs on the top of my heart and enjoy to eat my superfood heart in this way. The whole reason why I call this recipe Superfood Truffles is because you can add superfoods, foods that have a high nutrient density. So maybe I add in some protein powder or some immune supporting herbs. It's really welcome to do different varieties of this recipe. So here I have some nice 3 examples of different superfood truffles that you could make. And I'm feeling pretty hungry making this. I think I'm gonna go enjoy one. So on the next few slides, you'll be able to see what the recipe is and be able to either take a screenshot or download it, as well as find out my contact info for any follow-up questions. Thank you so much for joining the Hack Your Snacks session. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me via email. My information will be on the next slide. And also, I hope you enjoy making some superfood truffles. I know I will enjoy snacking on these as soon as I get off camera. All right, take care.